Therapy Chat Podcast, episode 222.
This is the Therapy Chat Podcast with Laura Reagan, LCSW-C. The information shared in this podcast is not a substitute for seeking help from a licensed mental health professional. And now, here's your host, Laura Reagan, LCSW-C.
Today's episode is sponsored by Therapy Notes. Between writing notes, filing insurance claims, and scheduling with clients, it can be hard to stay organized. That's why I recommend Therapy Notes. Their easy-to-use platform lets you manage your practice securely and efficiently. Visit therapynotes.com to get 2 free months of Therapy Notes today. Just use the promo code TherapyChat when you sign up for a free trial at therapynotes.com. Therapy Chat Podcast wouldn't exist without the support of its listeners. If you'd like to become a member, please go to patreon.com/therapychat. By making a $1 per month donation, you can help Therapy Chat keep going over the long haul. Thank you for your support. Hi, welcome back to Therapy Chat. I'm your host, Laura Reagan, and today is Saturday, March 21st, 2020. I'm coming to you from my house where I've pretty much been staying over the past week ever since the COVID-19 outbreak began to cause concerns in my home state of Maryland. I hope that wherever you're listening from, you're doing well. This is not the episode I was going to be releasing this week. I felt that in light of this worldwide pandemic that started out in, I believe, China, moved to South Korea. It's moved through Europe and is now in the United States. And I'm sure other countries. There's this feeling that we are going through something together, all of us. So instead of releasing an episode that I normally would have done today, I wanted to do a special episode to hopefully give you some strategies to help you deal with this crisis. A little bit of information that I hope will help you understand how you might be feeling and some resources. So I'm going to start off by leading you through a guided meditation. So, of course, probably don't need to tell you this, but if you're driving, wait until you are in a safe place, stopped, parked safely to listen to this. This meditation that I'm about to lead you through was created by Hugo Alberts, PhD, and Lucinda Poole, PsyD, and it came from the PositivePsychology.com crisis kit. If you're a therapist, you might want to download a link to this crisis kit that has a few helpful tools, including the script for this meditation and an audio recording of the meditation. And in fact, any of you can download it if you can use it and you feel it will be helpful. It'll be attached in the show notes. And also in the show notes will be PositivePsychology.com's recording of the same meditation. I'm going to lead you through it, and then you will have other ways to find it for yourself as well and to use it. This meditation is called the Eye of the Hurricane. Start off by finding a comfortable meditation position, either sitting on a cushion on the floor or on a chair. Sit tall with your back straight but shoulders relaxed, and let your hands rest in your lap. And if you're comfortable doing so, gently close your eyes. Let's take 3 deep, slow breaths to begin. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Become aware of your body sitting here. Notice the sense of contact between your body and the seat beneath you. Notice your feet on the floor. Notice your clothes against your skin. Now, let's consider a metaphor. Within the strong, turbulent winds of a hurricane, the eye, the center of the hurricane, is quiet. There is no wind and no movement there. For a moment, picture this idea in your mind. Can you visualize the strong, turbulent winds of a hurricane and the inner core that is peaceful and quiet? Let's see if you can become like the center of the hurricane. Your current circumstances, your thoughts, your feelings, and the sensations throughout your body can be compared to the winds of a hurricane. Is it possible for you to let go of all these things just for a moment so that you are no longer taking part in them? Like the center of the hurricane is not taking part in the turbulent surrounding winds. To do this, start by focusing on your breath. Simply breathe in and breathe out. Focus inward. Just like the eye is deep within the hurricane, your eye is deep within you. Use your breath to connect to this part of you. Simply breathe in and breathe out. Stay connected to your breath. If anything stressful happens in this moment, such as negative thoughts, unpleasant feelings, annoying sounds, difficult life events, memories, try to look at them as if they are the turbulent wind of the hurricane, whirling around, continually changing, unpredictable in nature. Notice that you are not them. You are the silent center of the hurricane, the part that is peaceful despite what is happening around you. You are the silent center of the hurricane, peaceful and at ease. You are not reacting. You are simply observing. Like the wind of the hurricane, these experiences are constantly moving and changing. You, on the other hand, are stable. You are not moving or being carried away by them. As you are breathing, notice how you move more and more towards the center of the hurricane, towards the eye. Just like the turbulent wind of the hurricane, your thoughts, your feelings, and whatever is happening outside yourself is still going on, but you are no longer part of it. You are in a safe, peaceful place, breathing in, breathing out. As you sit here, connected to your eye, notice whatever arises. Notice the wind of the hurricane, but do not participate. Stay in the eye. Notice thoughts. Notice feelings. Notice sensations. Continue to watch the ever-changing nature of the world inside and outside of you. Watch from a distance with curiosity and without judgment, without reacting to what you see. No matter how intense or bad the hurricane gets, the eye is always centered, calm, and at ease. Even the most turbulent hurricane cannot hurt or harm the eye. The eye is safe. Whenever you feel you need to restore your inner peace, use your breath to connect to this silent part of yourself. Just breathe in and breathe out. It may help to visualize the hurricane with yourself in the center. It can be difficult to see the eye of the hurricane at times. And sometimes we forget the eye is there, but it's always there. If we examine closely enough, even the strongest, darkest hurricane, sooner or later we'll see the eye centered and constant. Now, when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. So that was from the positivepsychology.com crisis kit, which will be attached in the show notes for this episode. The audio download will be there, or a link to it, and a link to the crisis kit itself. It's free for anyone to use. So this COVID-19 outbreak is impacting all of us, and it may be landing differently for each of us. I've noticed that even throughout my state, people I've spoken with in different counties are having different experiences. Some are unconcerned and others are panicking, and those feelings fluctuate throughout this entire experience. At this stage, March 21st, here in the US, most people I'm speaking to are kind of voluntarily physically distancing themselves from others to hopefully prevent exposure and lessen the spread as the scientists and researchers work to develop a vaccine and get more tests and all of those things out there that need to be done to help prevent this from becoming a public health crisis. But it is feeling like a crisis for many people. It feels like an emotional crisis. And there's a lot of grief with that. There's grief for how things were before and how this has changed things. So much abundance that we take for granted in the US is less available. For example, stores running out of toilet paper, disinfectants, hand sanitizer, things like that, eggs, milk, basic foods. It's such a privilege to even say that that kind of scarcity is a hardship. But if that's what you've always known, it can be extremely upsetting to face not being able to access basic things, not being able to come and go freely. So there's a lot of feeling of grief for many people. And grief, it comes in waves. It definitely does not follow a linear process or pattern. It's, you can be going along thinking you're feeling fine, and then out of the blue, it hits you. You can be laughing and suddenly you're crying. And for any of us who've experienced trauma prior to this experience, this brings that back to the surface as well. For so many people who are survivors of trauma, there was a feeling at that time of loss of control. And a disease outbreak definitely triggers those same feelings of a loss of control. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of helpful exercises that you can do anywhere. You don't need any special equipment or money to do them. And I'm also going to put 3 guided meditations or links to them in the show notes as well that I have previously recorded and I hope will be helpful for you. So basically going to tell you about 3 practices. 2 of them I will do with you, and one of them I will describe for you and give you resources for where you can find more about it. So the first thing I wanted to do is just tell you, in case you've never tried using deep breathing to help calm your nervous system. It's not a one size fits all, but it can help, because often when we're feeling very anxious or panicky, our breath is constricted. We're holding our breath, and it starts to make us feel lightheaded, and that contributes to the panic. So this is just a simple thing that anyone can do. You've probably heard of it before, but it's just in-breath with a count of 4, and out-breath for a count of 6. And when you take your in-breath, you want to breathe in through your nose. And then when you exhale, you want to breathe out through your nose if you can. So it goes like this. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I did that pretty slowly. That might have been too slow for many of you, and that's okay. All you have to do is count for yourself in your head while you're breathing in. And it could be like, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That will work too, because the main key is for the exhale to be longer than the inhale. That's what activates the vagus nerve to help calm your nervous system. So that's very simple. Breathe in for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 6 through your nose. Now this second exercise, this comes from Amy Weintraub's Life Force Yoga. It's very effective. It's much more complicated than the simple breathing in for 4 and out for 6. But once you get it down, it's a very effective thing to do. I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and it's going to sound very weird, but this is a great practice for when you're feeling overwhelmed with anxiety. It's called bee breath. Bee as in a bee that buzzes. Bee breath is really good for slowing down anxiety. What it does is it shuts out all the external stimuli and activates the vagus nerve to calm your nervous system. I'll describe it, and then I'll actually do it and describe it while doing it. But basically, you cover your eyes and ears, and you do a deep breath in, and on your out breath with your mouth closed, you make a buzzing sound for the full long exhale. And the buzzing sound, like a bee, like bzzz, it activates your vagus nerve. And it slows your breath down so much that you get that really long, deep exhale that helps calm your nervous system. So if you can get past the maybe a little bit awkward feeling about making that sound and doing all this, or that thinking that it looks weird, this is very helpful. I usually do it 3 times when feeling very anxious, and it is powerful. It really, after doing so, you stop and just notice how you feel. So I'm going to lead you through this. I'm going to do my best. It's hard because you can't see me. Plus I have headphones on, so I'm going to need to take them off for a second. Okay, my headphones are off, and what I'm going to do is take my thumbs from both hands and raise them up to my ears and touch the little part of your ear that kind of, where the opening is, there's that little part that sort of sticks out, and you can push that part to block the opening as if you're like plugging your ears. But don't put your fingers in your ears. Just push that little part. It's like a little flap to cover the opening, and it will close your ears. So you take your thumb and you put them on that place, push to plug your ears, and then you bring your fingers over your eyes. So basically now you have your ears closed and your eyes covered, blocking out external stimuli. So you want to sit up straight, and you're going to put your tongue at the roof of your mouth while making a buzzing sound. So normally when you make a buzzing sound, it would be like bzzz, and your lips are kind of open. But if you have your mouth closed and you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth and do it, it sounds like this. So it's kind of like, it's just a different sound. It's kind of funny, but it really works. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I have my thumbs covering my ear openings and my eyes covered by my fingers. I'm going to take a deep breath in with my tongue at the roof of my mouth. And I might have to go away from the microphone a little bit to sit up more straight, but I'm going to breathe in deeply. And then I'm going to exhale slowly with the buzzing sound. It's very, very slow. I'm going to do this 3 times, then I'm going to come back to you. All right, here we go, if you want to do it with me. Now gently open your eyes and remove hopefully you've taken your hands away from your ears so you can hear what I'm saying right now. And just notice what you observe. For me, every time I do it, the room always seems a little bit brighter afterwards, and my body just feels calmer. Even if I didn't think that my body wasn't calm before, it always has a more calm feeling after I do that. So I'm going to give you a second to check in with yourself and see if you notice any difference. All right. So that is Be Breath from Life Force Yoga, and links to that practice on the Life Force Yoga website. There's an article about it. Will be in the show notes. Let's just pause for a moment so I can give you a little bit more information about why I love therapy notes. I switched to therapy notes a few years ago. I'd say it's about 3 years now, I believe. And I have never regretted it. I was very happy with the EHR I used before, but therapy notes is more intuitive. I love the interface. The customer service is fantastic. And I love how I can get my notes done quickly because I can customize the template that I use for my notes. And there are opportunities to put check marks rather than having to write out the intervention used. So I have cut my time spent writing notes way down, which is wonderful because I like to focus on seeing clients. I know documentation is an important part of our work, but it can also be time consuming. And that is why I love using therapy notes. If you are considering switching EHRs or you're looking for one to use in your practice, give therapy notes a try. You can get 2 free months by using the code TherapyChat. Now let's get back to our interview. So the third practice I was going to tell you about today, or I am going to tell you about today, is the RAIN practice. If you've listened to this podcast before, you've heard me talk about Tara Brach's RAIN. RAIN, R-A-I-N, is an acronym. And the acronym RAIN stands for Recognize, Allow, Investigate, and Nurture. So this is a practice of radical compassion. And Tara Brach, who is a teacher that I have learned so much from, has multiple resources about rain on her website, tarabrock.com/rain. And I will link to that in the show notes as well. So what you do with a rain practice is it's to get in touch with what you're feeling, especially painful emotions or difficult emotions. You connect with your breath, and the process is, this isn't the actual practice, but the process is to recognize what is happening. That's the R, as I mentioned. Allow the experience to be there just as it is. Investigate with interest and care, and then nurture with self-compassion. It's a very helpful practice for feelings that you can't express, for feelings that you can't identify. So you're feeling something, you don't know what it is. That often leads to me saying to myself, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I don't know what this is. And that's me trying to understand, but feeling stuck to connect to it. The rain practice will help that move. It may make the feelings bigger, which doesn't feel so good, but then they can move through instead of just being under the surface, making me, feel confused, overwhelmed. So that's the rain practice. And I will, as I said, put links in the show notes for you to find more about that. Now, this last strategy for coping with the stress of this outbreak is also very simple, and it's a more cognitive type of activity rather than a mindfulness-based activity. But what I've noticed in situations like this is there can be this feeling of a bombardment. Each new development or each new piece of information that comes out, it just begins to feel like it's nonstop and there's no safety anywhere. And we can just go into a spiral. So this is a very simple exercise. Many of you who are therapists will be familiar with it, but even if you are familiar with it and you use it with clients, I think it never gets old. I mean, it's just something that you can always use. What you do is, this is about feeling a loss of control. When you're just wondering, well, what's this going to mean? What's going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. And your mind just starts racing with those kinds of thoughts. Take a piece of paper and draw a medium-sized circle in the middle of the paper. Using the inside and the outside of the paper, you write down what are the things that you're worrying about in that moment that are in your control. Those go inside the circle. And what are the things that you're worrying about that are outside of your control? And those go outside of the circle. And as much as that seems basic and simple, it can really help with gaining perspective on, what is your mind just trying to focus on something with all the anxiety it feels, and what are the things that you can actually do something about. So that is just a very simple little activity that you can always use anytime you have worries running through your mind. Just helps calm you down a little bit, and you can tell yourself just to focus on what is within your control. So the last thing I want to do for our time together today is just end with another helpful practice. And again, I've done this on the podcast before. I didn't make this up. It's been around for a very, very long time. And nevertheless, I think it may be helpful. And that is, I'm going to lead you through just a brief loving kindness guided meditation. So once again, I invite you to get into a comfortable position, seated or standing, lying down, doesn't matter, as long as you're supported and you can breathe. And I invite you to bring to mind the way you've been feeling during this new experience of this outbreak. So much uncertainty and unknown and so much suffering and pain and fear all around. I invite you to put your hand on your heart and internally, or if you'd like to repeat out loud after me, just say to yourself, may I be safe. May I be happy. May I be kind to myself. May I be free from suffering. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be kind to myself. May I be free from suffering. And as you feel your hand on your heart, I invite you to turn your thoughts toward someone you love. This person you love may be nearby, or they may not be. Or it may not even be a human. It may be an animal or some other being. But I invite you to call to mind someone you love and picturing them in your mind's eye with your hands still on your heart. I invite you to repeat inwardly or out loud if you wish, sending to that person you love or that someone you love. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be kind to yourself. May you be free from suffering. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be kind to yourself. May you be free from suffering. Keep allowing your breath to move naturally. Keep your hand on your heart if you're comfortable with that. And now I invite you to bring to mind someone who you've maybe had a more difficult relationship with. Maybe someone you don't get along with, or someone you've had a recent conflict with, or someone that you don't like for whatever reason. And then I invite you, if you're comfortable, and if you don't want to do it, it's okay. You can send it to someone else. But if you're comfortable, I invite you to send to them the same sentiment. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be kind to yourself. May you be free from suffering. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be kind to yourself. May you be free from suffering. Notice your breathing, your warm hand on your heart. Now I invite you to think about someone you don't know, someone else out there in the world, or it could be a group of people. Maybe you're feeling particularly concerned for people in other countries who have already experienced so much loss from this virus, or people in the same country you live in who you don't know. I invite you to Picture the group or individual that you are wanting to send this to in your mind's eye. And say with me internally or out loud, may you all be safe. May you all be happy. May you all be kind to yourselves. May you all be free from suffering. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be kind to themselves. May all beings be free from suffering. I invite you to gently open your eyes if you had them closed, and just notice if that helped at all with helping you feel more connected to the rest of humanity, or to yourself, or to someone you love. We are all going through this, and it's very unpredictable. I'm experiencing a whole range of emotions around this and doing my best to support my clients as they are also going through a wide range of emotions and experiences in this time right now. There are so many people out there trying to help, and so many people hurting, but I just know that we can only get through it together. We have to join together to get through this experience. So thank you for listening to Therapy Chat today. You'll find all those resources in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening to it on. And I'm going to do another episode next week that will be about helping ourselves get through this. It's, I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I've got one idea, but the way things have been changing, that could be different in a few days. So until then, thank you for listening, and I will be in touch with you soon. Take care. Today's episode is sponsored by Therapy Notes. There are many ways to keep your practice organized, but Therapy Notes is the best. Their easy-to-use, secure platform lets you not only do your billing, scheduling, and progress notes, but also create a client portal to share documents and request signatures. Plus, they offer amazing unlimited phone support, so when you have a question, you can get help fast. To get started with the practice management software trusted by over 60,000 professionals, go to therapynotes.com and start a free trial today. If you enter promo code TherapyChat, they will give you 2 months to try it out for free. Just another reminder that if you'd like to become a member of Therapy Chat, supporting the podcast while receiving fun member perks and being able to communicate with me one-on-one, go to patreon.com/therapychat. If every subscriber donated just $1 per month, Therapy Chat would be able to keep going strong indefinitely. Thanks so much for your support.
Thank you for listening to Therapy Chat with your host, Laura Reagan, LCSW-C. For more information, please visit therapychatpodcast.com.